Hello everyone, I'm Catherine, David's second daughter. I'm very thrilled to be here today. It's nearly a year now since David died, and there are many things that I've missed about that man. So I thought that today I would speak about three of them. Three things that I particularly relished about him. The first is his capacity for joy. The second, his energy. And then his independence. So firstly, start off with joy. His pleasures in life were many and various, and pursued with voracious enthusiasm, I'm sure you know. He loved food and wine. The more organic and the more Italian, the better. He loved to watch Newcastle United. Back in the days when Shearer was there, he was possibly addicted to Match of the Day for many years of his life. He was addicted to great literature too, but that joy he had in that would stretch very comfortably from epics to limericks to the yarns of P.G. Wodehouse. He wasn't a snob. He enjoyed watching nonsense on TV, detective stories, maybe a western with James Stewart in it. Afterwards you'd see him kind of adopting a bit of a special swaggering gait and a western drawl. He couldn't help himself. Music was a lifelong delight for him. Anything from jazz to Haydn, and in the last couple of decades of his life he listened to Bach cantatas with complete fascination and more or less infinite pleasure. He had an awful lot of joy from sport, but most particularly in winning. So people would come for dinner to Hexham, to his house, Duke Willie, and after the meal and a skinful of wine, the hapless guests were enticed to take him on at table tennis. So his shirt would come off, and then really his most dramatic method of terrorising the opposition was to remove his trousers, playing his boxers, and you had to be pretty tough to cope with that. But he did really want to win, even in ridiculous back garden games of cricket. And he was an incorrigible sports fan as well. Tears would stream down his face at the victory of the underdog. The more skinny and feeble the outsider, the more delighted he was with their victory. And people who've chatted with him will know how he relished conversation. He loved nothing more than good searching talk, ranging across ideas and disciplines. And he was unselfish with it. He genuinely wanted to hear what other people had to say. As children round the dinner table, he would encourage us all to take a stab at saying what we thought. And I think when he wrote about poetry, you could always sense the exquisite delight that he took in the craft of the poet, be he Milton or Shakespeare, Horace or Virgil. He was ravished by the beauty and the power of the words. His response to the text was firstly an emotional one, I'd say. And the bottom line for all his work seemed to me to be, how can I get more people to enjoy more poetry in more ways? The other thing I miss about the man is his energy, the sheer fizz of that man. Why would you walk anywhere when you can run? He ran all the time. He would take stairs two at a time and do a lot of his living at a trotting pace. When he lived down in Corbridge beside the river, he'd run up through the wood to collect the newspaper, and then he'd come crashing back down and he'd collect firewood as he went and arrive barely able to walk with all his firewood and the newspaper. And his appetite for work was colossal because it was the great love of his life. The concept of retirement was pretty meaningless for him. He continued to teach, lecture, think and write more or less to the end. When he was working on Shakespeare's sonnets, he told us he just couldn't wait to get up in the morning to get back to his desk. And I remember a few years back, he explained to me in rather stunned tones that he'd discovered you could actually read a book just for pleasure. Come up with original critical theories about it. It took him 84 years to realise that, though I'm not sure he ever really let go of the habit. In his last ever visit up to us in Scotland, he was reading Jane Austen's Emma, amongst other things, and I found a couple of pages of scribbled notes inside the book. And he was ruminating on the parallels between character drawing in Emma as compared to the depiction of a character with Morse, Spender and Poirot. And, there was no stopping him. It was fascinating stuff, and he was basically still at it. Finally, I want to mention his independence, which was a great legacy, I feel, for all his children, and maybe for some in the academic world too. He encouraged all his children to think for themselves, not to be cowed by any amount of eminence, nor by distinguished reputations, nor by pompous delivery, nor by formal qualifications, but to look at the evidence afresh, use our wits and make up our own minds fearlessly. How he did love to expose sloppy thinking. The scorn he loved to pour on something that was a mere rehashing of conventional ideas, or, God forbid, fashionable theories, served up without fresh critical scrutiny. He relished a challenge to orthodoxy, and he loved being unconventional. Look at his famous yellow trousers, and his green trousers, and his red trousers. But really, I think he sought to shine his flashlight of creative originality into many a dark, dusty corner. Looking into the years ahead, I think we can hope that that light that was so sharp will continue to inspire scholars to keep responding freshly to the text and keep directing their penetrating critical shafts of light to illuminate poetry. And that I hope that more people enjoy more poetry in more ways because of him. And I would say thank you all for being here today, and thank you for what you have meant to him in his life. And here's to his fierce, hungry, delightful mind with all its zest and pizzazz. When will we meet his like again?